what's it like being Angelica Krsteski?
That's a good question. It's a bit turbulent, to be honest. I'm interested in so many things. I'm kind of an intense person. It's a little bit different than most people, so my life is going all directions, so which makes it an interesting life.
And how would you describe yourself in one sentence?
I was once considered to be a busy bee. So it was one of my teammates that called me that way because I'm always busy making plans, but also taking care of the rest of the group and the people around me. So that's very important to me.
What do you think you are to spend time with, to hang out with?
In a one-on-one, I'm very down to earth. I think very easy to interact with. So I am an easy listener. I tend to go into deep conversations, and I like to have really deep friendships. In a bigger group, I tend to be a bit more silent and a bit more observative. So that's my sweet spot, is to be in a kind of intimate relations.
And do you live your life by a certain philosophy?
I didn't used to, but I have to say in the past years, whilst maybe growing up a little bit more, I got very interested in yoga philosophy. So I was never really religious. I was actually kind of anti-religious, but also that is something that I changed a little bit over the years. So I'm not thinking in black and white. So for me, kind of yoga philosophy is something very interesting to me because it's kind of the philosophy within yourself. And it's kind of like looking into, okay, what's important to me? How can I grow? And also what is my connection with the rest of the world, with nature? So making the assumption that we are all already united and connected instead of being separate. So that for me is kind of a very nice philosophy to follow.
What sort of upbringing did you have?
It's kind of interesting. So it's actually a bit twofold. On the one hand, it was kind of a turbulent childhood because my parents got divorced very early. I have also family in Macedonia, so my family was a little bit ripped apart. So as a child, it was not always that easy. But on the other hand, I had very nice and warm, or have still very nice and warm grandparents, both on the Belgian side and also the Macedonian side. So they took very good care of me. It was very nice, warm nests. Also in Macedonia, I also grew up there kind of as a second home. So I grew up in Belgium, but it was always my second home to go there during my holidays. So I have a really nice and deep connection with my family.
How did you get where you are today?
Yeah, big question. It's a combination, I think, of discipline, maybe also as a kind of reaction to my childhood, wanting to do good, wanting to my parents maybe to look up at me. So I was one of the first to go to university actually within my family. I studied engineering, so it required a lot of discipline really to have to do those 5 years of very strong education. So although it was very nice to spend time in Leuven, being also a little bit of a party animal, but on the other hand, it required also for me a lot of discipline to study, and also continuing that way of finding my place in work, in the corporate world, required a combination of discipline and following your heart. But I have to say, after a couple of years now in the past, it was also going through some pains, personal pains that allowed me to go a little bit deeper, not just to follow what others are telling you, but following your own heart and your own path. So actually, therefore, that pain was actually a blessing. So, yep.
And did luck play a role in your life, your career?
Yeah, for sure. I ended up also in the corporate world a little bit by coincidence because of an advertisement that I saw. So I ended up in this corporate big company where I spent most of my professional life, which was very interesting because I learned a lot. But then, because of going through these personal issues, a little bit having children, having a lot of things that are going on at the same time, that moved me a little bit in a different track. And if that was coincidence, I don't know if that was luck or not. But I do believe that there is a certain path for you, and you will find it some way or another. So I do believe in this kind of, what is meant to be will happen.
Thank you.